Hey, my name is Julie Clark and I will be using this strategy called Pictures and Words. So the materials that you will need is this Pictures and Words template, one for each student, and then each student needs to have a pencil or a pen. Each student will get 3 sticky notes to line up with the 3 boxes on the template. And then each student will have, or each group will have a book to read. So the activation part, the first step is to select a book, and today I've just used the Cool Bean for example. And then the next step is to pick 3 vocabulary words. If you were doing a higher grade, then you could pick more vocabulary words and elaborate on those things, and then maybe just do like a front and back of this template, or make your own. Then I will have them write the words, pronounce them, read them back to me. Sometimes we do a sing, spell, read, and write just to make sure that they do understand those words, how to spell them, how to say them, and things like that, so that they can repeat them back to me, and so that I can know that they're clearly learning. The next thing that we would do is a turn and talk. So each student, I would place each student with a peer partner, and they would turn and talk to their neighbor about what do they think these words mean, does anything stand out to them, and just talk about that. Then I would want them to make partner predictions on their sticky notes. So they each have 3. So from each one of these words, the student would pick the first word, and then they would make a partner prediction. I want them to draw a picture. And after they've looked at the cover of the book, kind of thought deeper about, like, what could be about, like, what do we think this book will be about? The Cool Bean. Like, what would that be about? And I'd want them to do partner predictions together. So think about those words. What do you think a wink means? I wrote one down. I would usually write these on a chalkboard, dry erase board, smart board, something like that. But for right now, I would write them just for them to clearly be able to see. If I was walking around to different groups, if they weren't all able to see the board, if they were in different groups around the room, they would clearly be able to see these words, and I would make sure that they had a copy of them. So, for example, wink. I would say, what do you think wink is? Is it something? I mean, what would it be? So we would talk about that and elaborate, and they would make their own predictions on their sticky note. So each box would have its own sticky note, and they can place it over. So they would draw a picture and then place it over that box, and so on. Those are only their predictions. They don't know what the word means or anything like that. And then we would share examples with the class and just kind of get our brains stirring. The next thing is connection, the connection part of the strategy. So I will read the story and they will listen to it. And sometimes I will read the story, and then depending on what grade level it is, sometimes they read the story with their peer partner just to get that extra. And then we will see if their predictions and guesses are correct. So I would have my class listen to the story when I read it for the vocabulary words. And when they hear a vocabulary word, raise their hand really quick. And we would stop and use context clues to figure out what those words mean. So we would figure out the context of the word in this sentence and kind of brainstorm together to see what that means. So then we would use our template, and we would draw a picture about, we would take the sticky note off and draw the picture in the box of what a picture that is related to the meaning, and then write the word. And depending on what grade level, you can write a sentence using the word, or the sentence from the story that describes the picture that you would write. So if it was, for example, if it was wink, and a student thought about, winking, they could write like an emoji face, or even just a quick something like that. Easy as that. Students can write a picture that describes that word. They can write the word and then write the sentence depending on what grade level they're in, and if they can do that. So then the affirmation part of the strategy would be, after reading the story, look at your partner prediction pictures again. So they would take back that sticky note out, look at their picture that they originally wrote, and they would say, okay, is that what I wrote before? And if it is, perfect. If it's not, that's okay. Let's try again. Let's make changes and let's make it correct. So they would take their sticky note off and see their picture that they have drawn under there after we connected to the strategy together. And then if they need to make changes and they don't have enough room, they can use the back part of the paper. And if not, they can just write under the picture, something like that. The reason why it's good to use sticky notes to draw the partner predictions at first is so that you can write or draw the real prediction under it. I like that, and then just keep their sticky notes, like tape them all together on there so you could see their work. And then revisit those predictions and then share with the class the changes that they made and why they made those changes. So if they didn't have the right picture for a wink, then they would draw the right picture and make the sentence make sense, and then they would explain why they drew the first picture and what they thought it was, and then they would explain why they realized that, oh, that was my mistake, I'm going to change this and make it the correct thing. So they just explain why they thought that at first and then how they know it's true now. So I really do love this strategy, and I can't wait to use it in my room when we go back to school. Thank y'all.